Welcome back to Chronicles. We are coming to the crux of the matter here. This is the crucifixion story.
That's what that means, crux, isn't it? The crux of the matter.
Yeah. That's why I said it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's great.
Brilliant, mate.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So we're going to read chapter 15 from verses 21 to verses 32. Let's read. A certain man from Cyrene, Simon, the father of Alexander and Rufus, was passing by on his way in from the country, and they forced him to carry the cross. They brought Jesus to the place called Golgotha, which means the place of the skull. Then they offered him wine mixed with myrrh, but he did not take it. And they crucified him. Dividing up his clothes, they cast lots to see what each would get. It was 9 a.m. when they crucified him. The written notice of the charge against him read, "The King of the Jews." They crucified 2 rebels with him, one on his right and one on his left. Those who passed by hurled insults at him, shaking their heads and saying, "So, you who are going to destroy the temple and build it in 3 days, come down from the cross and save yourself." In the same way, the chief priests and the teachers of the law mocked him among themselves. "He saved others," they said, "but he can't save himself. Let this Messiah, this King of Israel, come down now from the cross, that we may see and believe." Those crucified with him also heaped insults on him.
Yeah, just before we get into the sort of, the power of this passage, it is just a little interesting that Mark throws in a few names, I think.
Yeah.
Because he says, look, a certain man from Cyrene, Cyrene, Simon, and then he says, the father of Alexander and Rufus.
Yeah.
He doesn't waste his words normally.
No.
And
it's the shortest gospel, right?
And lots of people, we don't know what their names are. People are healed and we don't know their names.
Yeah.
Why is he throwing this in?
Yeah.
And, okay, it may not be right, but when you read the letter of Romans, right at the end, Paul is writing to the Roman Christians, and he names a whole load of people, like 30 odd people or something. Yeah. And there's a bloke called Rufus there. Yeah. And I think it must be connected. So the beauty of that is that you've got an eyewitness person here, Rufus, whose dad carried the cross for Jesus. And probably, he's a believer worshipping Jesus in Rome.
Amazing. Yeah. I mean, what's a story to tell your grandkids?
Yeah,
yeah, it's incredible. And it is a proof, isn't it? It's a proof of the accuracy of the gospel, the believability. And the
eyewitnesses are there.
It's historical. Yeah. So that, I mean, it is great that because this is a very important part of the gospel. Yeah. And right at this is the heart. In a sense, isn't it? Yeah. And right there's another little note of history for you. Yeah. So don't this is not a made up story. Yeah. Yeah.
And so therefore we see Jesus. He's brought to this place called Golgotha, again a named place that people would know about. So it's not fictional. Yeah. And then it means the place of the skull, which is rather a sort of horrible thing. I suppose it's to do with death. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, when I was a kid, He-Man was big, and
there was like Skeletor or something.
Skeletor,
that's it. Yeah.
Skull Mountain, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So it's a sort of place of death and so forth, and then he's offered. So he's. I think verse 24. Those sort of 4 words are just quite shocking, really, how it's written, isn't it? And they crucified him. Yeah. I mean, this is a horrific,
very heavy
torture by the Romans. Yeah, it's extraordinary, and they crucified him. This is a horrific thing. Yeah. But just before that, it says they offered him wine mixed with myrrh, but he didn't take it. What's that about?
Well, I mean, it would have been an anesthetic. Yeah. It would have dulled the pain. That's.
So they're being kind to him.
Yeah, they're trying to take away some of the horror of what's happening. But he refuses it. I think he knows. He said before, hasn't he? This cup that he's going to drink he's going to drink down to its dregs. You know, he's going to take the cup of God's wrath.
Yeah.
And you know, he doesn't want to take any of that away. You know, and I think this is anyone in their right mind would have said, "Yeah, give me that.
Yeah,
I want buckets of it."
A bucket. Yeah, exactly.
But here, I think it's a note to us as believers that, you know, he was in his right mind.
Yeah.
He had, you know, he also
he
wants to be in control.
Giving up.
Yeah.
He's giving up the ghost.
He's in control. Exactly. Yeah. No one else has taken his life
or taken control away from him by some
and
kind
even
of drug.
even in it, he's fully in control of all of his capabilities. You know.
Yeah. Then it's 9 a.m. when they crucified him, and they put this written charge, which is just fantastic, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's not what the religious leaders wanted.
No, they hate it.
And even though it's sort of done perhaps through mockery, it's making this statement, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they're mocking of him as a king that we saw.
Yeah.
Well, he is a king.
Yeah.
They're mocking him of being the king of the Jews by sticking this thing up.
Yeah.
It's telling you who he is.
Yeah. And they say, don't they, that, you know, don't write that. You know, that the Romans write it up and they write it in different languages, but they bulk it at first. They say, don't do that. But now that it's up there, they're going along with it, and so it becomes part of their mockery later on as they whisper to each other, let this Messiah, the King of Israel, come down.
Yeah. So Ben last time was talking about the three positions of Christ. You know, he's prophet, priest, and king, and they're all being mocked here. And we saw that him being a prophet was mocked, him being a king was mocked, and we've got this sort of priest stuff here with the chief priests mocking him and that sort of thing that's going on here. But what else have we got? I mean, this does take us back. If you go back again, last time we went back to Isaiah 53, but if you go back to Psalm 22,
there's huge.
It's so much, isn't there? It says, "All who see me," and this is Christ on the cross, isn't it? This is basically a prayer of his.
Yeah.
All who see me mock me; they hurl insults, shaking their heads. He trusts in the Lord. They say, "Let the Lord rescue him. Let him deliver him, since he delights in him." And then it goes on with all of the mockery and all of the stuff that's going on there. And Psalm 22 brings in the whole aspect of a satanic power here as well. That Satan's forces are there.
Beasts around him. And he goes on to say in the next section, you know, he takes some of that psalm on his lips, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Just the way Mark slows down here. As you said, starting from verse 24, for me, it slows it right down, and all those details are just sort of brought up one by one. The rebels crucified with him. He paints it. He paints this picture so starkly, and it's a horrifying picture, isn't it?
But then out of the mouths of mockers comes truth.
Yeah.
It's amazing how they just can't help saying truth.
Yeah.
So they're mocking him. Why don't you come down?
Yeah.
He saved others, but he can't save himself.
Yeah.
And theologically, that's bang on.
So.
If others like you and me are going to be saved from God's wrath, from this, he can't save himself.
Yeah.
Not my will, but your will be done.
Yeah.
He's on the cross, saving us.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So I do love this. I mean, I remember you saying when Kanye West had his LP out, it was called Jesus is King, I think. And people were mocking him all over. But in order to mock him, in all the newspapers, and they were mocking Jesus and all this stuff, they had to say the name of the album, Jesus is King. And you were saying, rejoice in this. It's all over the place.
That's right. Exactly,
and I think that's right. And so the mockery, God uses, you can't break his plan.
No.
Yeah.
It's people speaking better than they know, and speaking truth, even when they don't even believe it themselves.
Yeah. But extraordinary, isn't it, that they would heap insults on him?
Yeah.
So again, this is an opportunity, I think, for you to thank Jesus that he actually didn't save himself, but but he did save you if you trust in him. And what a wonderful thing.
These words, those last words of the chief priests, see and believe.
See and believe.
That's what they should have been doing. And that's what we do, isn't it? We look to the cross and we put our faith in Jesus.
Yeah.
That's how you become a Christian.
See and believe. See you next time.